Beloved, hear my voice. I am speaking directly to you in this very moment. This is not coincidence. This moment was arranged long before you even realized you would arrive here. There were many times when I reached for you. In your quiet tears, I was there. In the restless nights when your mind raced and your heart ached, I was close. Even when you whispered prayers that felt unanswered, I heard every word. The noise around you was loud. The pressures of life tried to drown out my whispers. But I never stopped watching. I never left your side. Now your spirit is ready. That is why I speak with such urgency. This is not just another message. This is serious. This is a divine moment crafted for your soul alone. The things I reveal to you today are not for others to hear. They are personal. They carry weight. They carry purpose. There are forces that have seen the light I placed inside you long ago. A light they cannot create. A light they cannot control. They have watched, waiting for weakness, hoping to pull you away from my presence. But I declare to you today, they will not succeed. Beloved, stay with me. Listen not with your ears alone, but with your spirit. What I am about to reveal will shift the course of your journey. The time of wandering is over. The season of hiding is finished. You stand now at a holy turning point, and I have much to show you. I have watched as the unseen realm has turned its eyes toward you. They are not drawn to your appearance, your accomplishments, or your possessions. They are drawn to the light I breathed into you long before you were born. This light carries my essence, the imprint of my purpose, and it unsettles those who dwell in shadow. They cannot create life. They cannot imitate my power. All they can do is attempt to pull your spirit away from the truth of who you are. Their tactics are never loud. They speak in whispers. They do not come with open force, but through quiet suggestions planted in your thoughts, especially when you rest, when you feel tired, or when your heart grows weary from waiting. In those vulnerable moments, they whisper lies, that you are not enough, that you are forgotten, that your hope was in vain. These are not your thoughts. They are foreign voices disguised as your own doubts, hoping you will accept them as truth. Even the patterns of your bloodline have been watched closely. Choices made by those who came before you, whether in weakness, ignorance, or rebellion, have opened certain doors that these forces now seek to exploit. They do not attack your body. They aim deeper. They want your inner consent, your quiet agreement, your willingness to let the light grow dim. Their goal is to gently pull your spirit into a false closeness, away from my presence, until you no longer recognize the difference. But I have built you differently. I planted within you a strength that you have not fully seen. Even now you feel it stirring. That quiet resilience, that small voice deep within you, is not your imagination. It is my spirit calling you back to who you truly are. Every time you resisted bitterness, every time you chose mercy, every time you reached for me when it would have been easier to turn away, you strengthened the fortress around your soul. You are not powerless in this battle. You are not exposed. My light in you carries an authority that causes the darkness to tremble. But you must remain watchful. You must recognize that not every thought belongs to you. You must see that the heaviness that sometimes presses upon your heart is not always a reflection of your own weakness, but the weight of opposition pressing closer, hoping you will surrender without even noticing. I do not tell you this to frighten you, but to awaken you. You are stepping into a season where your awareness must rise. The subtle pulls of distraction, the lingering sense of emptiness, the false comfort that tempts you to compromise, it is all part of their quiet strategy. But the door remains in your control. A single whisper of surrender to me, even now, can break their influence. A simple turning of your heart toward me realigns your spirit with my covering. This is why I speak to you now, so you may see clearly, stand firmly, and let the light I placed within you shine without fear. The battle you face is not one of open confrontation. It does not come crashing through your door with noise and violence. Instead, it moves quietly, slipping through the ordinary moments of your daily life. It hides behind familiar routines, harmless conversations, small compromises that seem insignificant. And yet, through these subtle invitations, the darkness seeks to draw you away from me. They offer you peace, but it is not real peace. It is a false quiet that lulls your spirit into sleep, convincing you that nothing is urgent, that you need not guard your heart so closely. They present comfort, but it is shallow, built on temporary satisfaction rather than the deep rest I offer. They invite you into a sense of belonging, but it is not true connection. It is a counterfeit acceptance designed to pull you into agreement with things that are not of me. At first, these temptations feel gentle. They rarely appear as obvious evil. Instead, they speak to your weariness, to your longing for rest, for companionship, for relief from your struggles. They whisper, "Isn't this easier? Isn't this good enough? Why keep resisting?" They want you to lower your guard, to make room for small compromises that slowly erode your sensitivity to my spirit. Their goal is not to push you into open rebellion, but to distance your heart from me one quiet step at a time. And when the heart grows distant, my voice becomes faint. Not because I stop speaking, but because your spirit begins to tune its ear elsewhere. You begin to forget what my nearness feels like. You become numb to my whisper. You settle into routines that lack my presence, convinced that you are still close, while your defenses quietly weaken. This is how they work, not through sudden disaster, but through slow erosion. They know that once you stop listening closely, you become easier to influence. Once your spirit becomes dull, they can speak more boldly into your thoughts. What began as small distractions grow into patterns of indifference, then compromise, then spiritual numbness. And soon you find yourself far from where you once stood, wondering how you drifted so far. This is why I speak to you now with urgency. The danger is not only in what you do, but in what you allow yourself to tolerate. It is in the subtle exchanges, time spent in places that drain your spirit, conversations that dull your convictions, entertainment that feeds your insecurities, relationships that pull you into comfort without holiness. These are not random. They are targeted attempts to shift your spirit's allegiance, one quiet moment at a time. But you are not defenseless. The moment you recognize their subtle approach, you can break their influence. The moment you turn your gaze fully back to me, the grip of their deception weakens. You do not need to shout or strive. Just one sincere turning of your heart reestablishes my covering. The battle is subtle, but so is my call, and my call carries greater power. I am not far from you. I have seen every quiet pull that has tried to separate you from my presence. And even now I am here, inviting you back into full awareness, full nearness, full strength. You were not made for shallow belonging. You were made for deep communion with me. You stand now at a place where few realize the weight of the moment. This is not simply another passing season. It is a critical turning point in your spiritual journey. The path before you narrows. One direction leads to deeper freedom, closer intimacy with me, and the fullness of the purpose I set for your life. The other, though it may appear harmless at first, leads into a quiet fading, a subtle loss of spiritual sensitivity that drains your strength without your awareness. The forces that stand against you have studied you carefully. They know your wounds, your longings, your moments of doubt. They have waited for times when your defenses weaken, when you are tired, when you are discouraged, when you feel unseen. Their tactics are not bold attacks, but steady pressure, hoping to convince you to relax your vigilance, to surrender small pieces of your identity until you no longer recognize how far you've drifted. If you yield to their quiet pull, you may not feel the absence of my presence right away. You may still speak my name, still follow familiar routines, still carry outward appearances of devotion. But slowly, your spirit will begin to grow hollow. My voice will seem distant, not because I stopped speaking, but because you have tuned your heart to other voices. What once stirred your spirit with passion will begin to feel heavy or indifferent. This is how the emptiness grows, one small compromise at a time. But I have not brought you this far to watch you fall away. This moment is serious because your destiny carries weight beyond what you see. Your obedience now does not only affect your own life, it impacts generations to come, both those in your family line and those I will bring into your path. The light you carry is meant to break chains far beyond your own story. That is why the opposition fights with such intensity, because your full surrender threatens the plans of darkness far wider than you know. I am calling you now to choose my light fully, not with empty words, not with surface-level devotion, but with the full yielding of your inner being. This is not about perfection. It is about your posture. Will you allow me full access to your thoughts, your desires, your longings? Will you trust my voice above the subtle whispers that appeal to your comfort? Will you stand firm when familiar temptations attempt to bargain for your attention once again? I do not ask this of you to burden you. I ask because I have prepared something greater for you. Assignments that require a pure vessel, a steady heart, and a clear spirit. The power I desire to release through your life cannot flow through a divided soul. You were never meant to live half-surrendered. My spirit longs to flood every corner of your being, filling you with a strength that cannot be shaken by any shadow. This turning point is not a threat. It is a holy invitation. I have been patient, gentle, waiting for this moment when your heart would be ready to hear me fully. Do not turn back. Do not minimize what I am revealing to you now. The door stands open. Step through it with courage. My light is waiting to flood the places that once felt unreachable. The darkness fears this moment, but all of heaven stands ready to respond to your choice. There were seasons when you felt utterly alone, nights when the silence around you felt crushing, and you wondered if I even heard your cries. But every painful moment, every hidden tear, every quiet battle in the secret place, I saw it all. I was not distant. My presence wrapped around you like a shield, even when your mind could not perceive it. My silence was never absence. It was my hand working, shaping, fortifying you for what was yet to come. You survived not by chance, but because I sustained you. There were forces that sought to break your spirit long ago, to wear you down until you collapsed under the weight of despair. But you endured. You kept walking, even when your strength felt thin. That quiet perseverance was not your doing alone. It was my spirit within you, carrying you step by step. Each breath you take today is evidence that my hand has never lifted from your life. Now, this strength you feel stirring inside you, it is not random. It is not simply a season of feeling better or finding fresh energy. It is my spirit awakening your true identity, calling forth the part of you I designed before you ever drew your first breath. This is the strength reserved for this very hour. You have been chosen not because of your perfection, but because you allowed me to carry you through the wilderness. What was once only survival will now become testimony. But hear me clearly. You must not return to the places that once dimmed your light. The old patterns, the false comforts, the compromised relationships that once lured your heart away, they cannot follow you into what I am preparing. The enemy will attempt to draw you back through subtle whispers, offering familiar ease, temporary comfort, and shallow acceptance. But what is unclean cannot hold space within what I have consecrated. You were not made for mixtures. You were made for holiness. What I am building through your life requires purity, not outward performance, but inward devotion. Guard your spirit carefully. Do not entertain what once drained you. Do not give soft permission to what you once rejected with firmness. The enemy fears the light you carry, not because of what you have done so far, but because of what you are about to walk into. Your light disrupts his schemes in ways you do not yet see. That is why the pressure to compromise has grown stronger. It is a desperate attempt to stop you before you fully rise. You are closer than you realize to the fulfillment of what I have prepared. That is why the warfare has intensified. The pull to old paths is not random, it is strategic. But I tell you now, do not turn back. What felt acceptable in former seasons has no place where I am taking you. Holiness is not restriction, it is protection. It is the covering under which my power flows freely. Stay under that covering, and you will walk in authority that silences every shadow. The decision remains in your hands, but my grace is sufficient to strengthen you. I have brought you through too much for you to shrink back now. Look ahead, the old doors are closed, new ones stand ready. Step forward with a clean heart and unwavering eyes. The best is not behind you, it is before you. There is great power in your decision. Even the softest whisper of surrender offered from the depths of your heart carries weight in the unseen realms. You may feel that your words are small, your voice quiet, but when you align your spirit with my will, chains that have bound generations are shattered. This moment carries far more significance than your emotions can grasp. Tonight, I call you to seal this decision, not only in your words, but in the deepest part of who you are. This is not a fleeting inspiration. This is a divine covenant being written upon your soul. Your spiritual inheritance has always been waiting. It was placed within you before you ever knew to desire it. Others before you may have faltered. Some doors may have remained closed for generations. But now you stand at the threshold. As you step into full agreement with my purpose, that inheritance awakens. Gifts long dormant will begin to emerge. The assignments that once seemed distant will now draw near. What your lineage carried as a potential is becoming your reality. Know this, you are not alone in this hour. The unseen world is watching. Both my angels and the powers of darkness observe this moment with intense attention. Your decision does not only affect your present circumstances, it shapes what will unfold for those who come after you. Your obedience today can break cycles that have operated for decades. This is why the enemy has fought so hard to wear you down, to discourage you, to numb you. But now is the moment of shift. This choice will echo far beyond what you can see. And as you step forward, I will confirm my word to you. Pay close attention to what unfolds in the coming days. It may not come as thunder or fire, but as subtle, unmistakable signs. An unexpected message from someone you did not expect to hear from. A conversation that seems perfectly timed, a dream that leaves a mark upon your spirit. A sudden moment of knowing that floods your heart with peace. These are not coincidences. They are my signals. They will mark the turning of this chapter and the activation of what I have promised. What was stolen from you will not remain lost. What the enemy delayed will no longer be restrained. I am accelerating what was once held back. The moments you thought had passed you by will return in greater form, multiplied and refined. The years of loss will be redeemed. Restoration is not a return to what was, but a renewal that surpasses it. You will look back and see how every delay was not wasted time, but preparation for something far better than what you once envisioned. Stand firm now. Let your spirit remain open and your eyes attentive. The signs will come. And when they do, you will know without doubt. My hand has moved, my word is true, and your surrender has released a flood of new beginnings. This is not the end. It is the unfolding of the purpose for which you were created. You have never been forgotten. Not for a moment did I overlook you. Even in the quietest nights when you questioned your worth, even when your heart felt too heavy to hope, I saw you, I carried you. You were never ordinary. From the moment I formed you, I marked you as set apart. The enemy saw this too. That is why the battle was fierce. He tried to wear you down with confusion, fear, and exhaustion. He whispered lies into your mind, hoping you would forget who you are. But you did not surrender. You are still standing. And now everything begins to shift. The story you once thought was nearly over is being rewritten. Not only for your sake, but for the generations that follow you. The chains that bound your family line are being broken. What limited those before you will not limit you. Your obedience in this moment has opened a door no one can close. As you step into this new season, I will go before you. My protection will cover you. My provision will meet you. My presence will never leave you. You will walk forward not in fear, but in confidence, knowing that I hold your future securely in my hands. What unfolds from this day forward is not the ending, but the true beginning of the purpose I placed within you before time began. Your name shines brightly in my records, sealed in my covenant. All of heaven bears witness to this moment. You belong to me, and nothing in heaven or on earth can separate you from my love. Walk forward now with steady peace, for the best is still unfolding.